Seo Min-jun, the only son of the Kangshung Group chairman, once had everything. Wealth, power, a future that shined brighter than anyone else's. But after the accident, all of it was shattered. His body betrayed him, his legs no longer carried him. His pride turned into bitterness. The mansion that once echoed with celebration became filled only with silence and his anger. Servants feared him, his father ignored him, even the doctors gave up. But one night, inside that cold mansion, a sound broke through the stillness. A song. A maid named Lee Ha-eun, new to the household, sang quietly while she worked. A voice so soft, yet carrying a warmth long forgotten. Min-jun should have hated it. And he told himself he did. But when her melody reached his heart, the pain, the nightmares, the loneliness, fell silent. That night, for the first time in years, Seo Min-jun slept peacefully. And without realizing it, his fate had begun to change. A song that should have been nothing, became the key to unlocking his frozen heart. And for Min-jun and Ha-eun, it was only the beginning. Word spread quickly through the mansion. The new maid, Lee Ha-eun, had broken an unspoken rule. She sang. In the Seo household, silence was not just expected, it was demanded. And especially in the presence of Seo Min-jun, whose fragile pride left no room for pity or distraction. When Chairman Seo Jin-woo discovered it, his fury was immediate. To him, a maid was replaceable. But an heir, no matter how broken, was not. Fire her, he commanded coldly. A servant who cannot follow rules has no place in this house. Ha-eun bowed, trembling, knowing her time in the mansion had ended before it even began. But then, something unthinkable happened. Seo Min-jun, the son who never spoke on behalf of anyone, opened his mouth. With his eyes burning in quiet defiance, he interrupted his father.
You cannot speak to her that way.
She stays. Gasps filled the room. Servants exchanged shocked glances. The cold, distant Min-jun had never defended anyone, let alone a maid. Chairman Seo narrowed his eyes. Why? Min-jun's hands trembled on his wheelchair. He refused to meet his father's gaze, but his voice was steady. Because her song helps me. For the first time in years, silence fell for a different reason. The servants whispered, could it be true? Could a poor maid's voice succeed where the finest doctors and therapists had failed? Chairman Seo stared long at his son, suspicion clouding his stern expression. But instead of arguing further, he left the room without another word. And from that day forward, Ha-eun remained. She should have been dismissed. But instead, she became the only one Min-jun allowed near him. The maid with the voice that could soften his rage, became the first crack in the walls he had built around his heart. But what neither of them knew, was that someone else had been watching. Jealous eyes, dangerous intentions, because in the Seo mansion, nothing stays secret for long. The voice that saved Min-jun's soul, would soon make Ha-eun the target of envy. And the enemy who wished to destroy her, was already within the house. In the Seo mansion, whispers travel faster than the wind. And soon, every servant knew the shocking truth. The cold, untouchable heir, Seo Min-jun, had defended a maid. The same Min-jun who once humiliated anyone who dared pity him, was now protecting Lee Ha-eun. But not everyone was pleased. Among the staff, jealousy began to fester. One maid in particular, Choi Yi-rin, could not hide her rage. For years, Yi-rin had believed she was different. Smarter, prettier, destined for more than just service. She dreamed of catching Min-jun's attention, of someday rising above her station. But that dream shattered the moment Ha-eun arrived. Yi-rin watched from the shadows as Min-jun allowed Ha-eun into his private world. She saw the way his cold eyes softened, just slightly, when Ha-eun sang. And in Yi-rin's heart, admiration turned to hatred. She's nothing, Yi-rin whispered to herself. A poor, pitiful girl who doesn't know her place. If she thinks she can win his favor, I'll make sure she regrets ever stepping into this house. That very night, Yi-rin set her plan in motion. She spread rumors among the servants, that Ha-eun had seduced Min-jun, that she faked her innocence to gain sympathy. Slowly, doubt poisoned the air. But Yi-rin was not content with gossip alone. She wanted Ha-eun gone, and so, she waited for the perfect chance. It came when Ha-eun was assigned to deliver Min-jun's medicine. A simple task, too simple. While no one was looking, Yi-rin switched the pills with ones that would make Min-jun violently ill. Her lips curved into a cruel smile. Let's see if he still defends you when you nearly kill him. But fate has a way of twisting even the cruelest plans. When Min-jun doubled over in pain that evening, Ha-eun panicked. Her trembling hands tried to steady him, her voice desperately calling for help. Yet even through his agony, Min Jun grabbed her wrist and rasped, "Not your fault." The words stunned Ha-eun. He trusted her, even as his body betrayed him. And just as the family doctor arrived, Min Jun's father, Chairman Seo, stormed into the room. His icy glare fell on Ha-eun first. "What have you done?" he thundered. All eyes turned to the poor maid. The trap had been perfectly set. In a house filled with secrets and lies, Ha-eun was about to pay the price for a crime she did not commit. And Yi Rin was smiling in the dark. In the Seo mansion, chaos erupted after Min Jun's sudden collapse. All fingers pointed at the poor maid, Lee Ha-eun. Chairman Seo demanded her immediate dismissal. "She is dangerous. Remove her at once." But Min Jun, pale and sweating, forced out words that silenced the room. "It wasn't her." The staff gasped. Even in pain, the cold air defended her. And though the chairman's fury burned, Ha-eun was spared, for now. But the incident left a question in her heart that refused to fade. Who would want Min Jun harmed? Late one night, as Ha-eun cleaned Min Jun's study, she found something strange. Tucked between stacks of medical files was a thin folder, marked with the date of Min Jun's accident. Her trembling hands opened it. Inside, photos of the wrecked car, a police report, and notes scribbled in red ink. But one line stood out, circled again and again. Brake line, deliberately cut. Ha-eun's breath caught. The accident wasn't fate, it was planned. The next day, Ha-eun tried to tell Min Jun what she found. But he snapped at her, his pride lashing out like a blade. "Do you think pity will fix me? Stop meddling." Tears stung her eyes. She wanted to walk away, to forget. But she couldn't, because when she looked into his pain, she saw something deeper, fear. Min Jun wasn't just bitter. He was broken, and hiding the truth from everyone. That night, as Ha-eun stepped out into the garden for air, she overheard hushed voices near the fountain. Choi Yi-rin, the rival maid, whispered to a stranger cloaked in shadows. "The job isn't finished. He's still alive. If the chairman ever finds out the truth." Ha-eun froze, her heart racing. The rival maid wasn't acting alone. Someone powerful wanted Min Jun crippled, maybe even dead. And Ha-eun had just heard enough to put her own life in danger. The poor maid thought she entered this mansion to clean floors and serve meals. But now, she was entangled in a deadly secret, one that could destroy the entire Seo family. Days turned into weeks, and yet Min Jun's bitterness never softened. He refused therapy. He refused his father's money. He refused everything. But when the night grew darkest, there was one thing he never refused. The faint, trembling sound of Ha-eun's voice. Hidden in the corner of his room, she sang softly, like a secret prayer no one was meant to hear. And though he scowled, though he mocked her songs as childish, Min Jun never once told her to stop. Because deep inside, that voice touched a place even he had forgotten, the part of him that still longed to live. One stormy evening, thunder shaking the windows, Ha-eun's voice rose higher, stronger, and desperate. She sang not for herself, not for his father, not even for approval. She sang only for Min Jun. And something impossible happened. Min Jun's fingers trembled against the armrest. His legs, numb for years, burned with fire. He gritted his teeth, sweat pouring, and with a strangled cry, he pushed himself up. One step, then another, and another. Gasps filled the mansion. The staff fell to their knees, weeping. Chairman Seo clutched his chest in shock. The heir who was doomed to a wheelchair was walking again. But Min Jun's eyes weren't on them. He looked only at her. At the poor maid with calloused hands, standing frozen in the corner, tears streaming down her face. Lee Ha-eun, the one who gave him back his life. And in that moment, Min Jun's heart whispered a truth even he could no longer deny. It wasn't money. It wasn't medicine. It wasn't power. It was her song. It was her. But not everyone celebrated. From the shadows of the hall, Choi Yi-rin's nails dug into her palms. Her perfect plan, her long nights of scheming, her whispered orders to the man in the garden, all shattered by one maid's song. Hatred burned in her chest. If Min Jun loved Ha-eun, then everything she had sacrificed, all her chances at wealth and power, would vanish. No, she wouldn't let it happen. If Ha-eun thought she could win the heir's heart, she was wrong. Very wrong. The miracle of song gave Min Jun back his legs, but it also awakened a storm of jealousy. And soon, that storm would strike the poor maid with a cruelty she could never imagine. The miracle of Min Jun's recovery spread like wildfire. Newspapers praised the Seo family. Investors returned. The mansion filled with laughter again. But behind the smiles, one heart was rotting with envy. Choi Yi-rin, the woman who had dreamed of becoming Min Jun's wife, now watched him look at another with eyes she had never seen before. Eyes soft, eyes alive, eyes only for Ha-eun. And so, Yi-rin prepared her strike. On the night of the grand celebration, with family, staff, and business partners gathered, she stepped onto the stage with a perfect smile. Her voice rang out. "There's something everyone should know about Lee Ha-eun." The room fell silent. This maid you all admire, this so-called miracle worker, is nothing but the daughter of a gambler. A girl from the slums. Someone who doesn't even deserve to stand in this house. Gasps echoed. Whispers spread like fire. Ha-eun's face went pale. She stood frozen, trembling, her hands clutching her apron. Every humiliation she had buried, every cruel whisper from her childhood, came flooding back. Her knees weakened, tears burned her eyes, but she bit her lip, refusing to cry before them. But then, she saw him. Seo Min Jun, the heir, the man she thought was untouchable, the man she thought she could never stand beside. And before anyone could speak, he moved. Slowly, painfully, each step filled with fire. But he walked, not for pride, not for his father, not for the company. He walked for her, until he stood in front of Ha-eun, shielding her with his body. His voice shook, but his words silenced the hall. "Don't you dare insult her. If it weren't for her, I'd still be trapped in that chair. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive." He turned, meeting his father's stunned eyes. "I don't care about her background. I don't care about her past. From now on, she's the reason I stand, the reason I live, and I won't let anyone take her away from me." The room erupted, shocked gasps, furious whispers, scandal brewing like wildfire. But to Ha-eun, none of it mattered. Because for the first time, Min Jun had chosen her. His first confession lit the hall on fire. But love, in the Seo family, was never a blessing. And soon, a secret from the past would change everything again. After that night, nothing was the same. Seo Min Jun had spoken. He had chosen. And Lee Ha-eun's heart trembled with every stolen glance, every whispered word. But while love blossomed in secret, the past, long buried, was waiting to rise. One rainy afternoon, Ha-eun was cleaning the old study. Her fingers brushed across a worn music box. When she opened it, a familiar lullaby drifted out. Her heart stopped. That song, the very same melody she had sung to comfort a crying boy, many years ago. Memories flooded back. A small hospital, a lonely boy in a wheelchair, staring out the window. His face pale, his heart broken. And a little girl, herself, sitting beside him, humming that very song to chase away his tears. But before she could recall more, a voice spoke behind her. "Where did you learn that song?" Ha-eun turned. Min Jun stood at the door, eyes wide, his body trembling. She stammered, I used to sing it as a child. There was a boy, in the hospital? I don't even know his name, but..." His voice broke. "Lee Ha-eun, that boy, was me." The world seemed to stop. He remembered, the girl who had held his hand when no one else would. The voice that had been his only comfort during endless nights of pain. The reason he hadn't given up. It had been her, all along. Ha-eun's tears spilled as he reached for her hand. "Do you understand now? You weren't just my miracle today. You've always been my miracle. From the very beginning." But just as their hands touched, the study doors burst open. Alexander Seo stormed in, his voice like thunder. "Enough. Whatever childish connection you two had ends now. Ha-eun, you will leave this house immediately." Min Jun's face hardened. His father's fury, the truth of their past, the love finally spoken, everything crashed at once. Destiny had reunited them, but destiny, in the Seo family, was a dangerous thing. And soon, love would demand the ultimate choice. The Grand Seo mansion was filled with whispers. Guests in glittering gowns and sharp suits gathered for the announcement. Tonight, Alexander Seo would finally reveal his son's future bride, a powerful alliance to secure the family empire. But for Ethan Seo Min Jun, tonight would decide everything. Ha-eun stood in the shadows, trembling. She wasn't supposed to be here. She had already been dismissed, ordered never to show her face again. But her heart refused to obey. She needed to see him, one last time. The hall fell silent as Alexander raised his glass. "Tonight, my son will be betrothed to Yu Ji-won, daughter of the Yu conglomerate. Together, they will secure the Seo family's future." Gasps filled the room, cameras flashed. Ji-won stepped forward, smiling proudly, her hand outstretched. But Ethan did not move. Instead, he gripped the edge of his wheelchair, and with trembling strength, he rose to his feet. The crowd erupted in shock. Every step was agony, but he forced himself forward, not to G1. But to Ha-un. Father, he said, voice steady, I will not marry for power. I will not marry for wealth. His eyes locked onto Ha-un, shining with tears. I will only marry for love. And the woman I love, is her. The hall exploded into chaos. Gasps, whispers, outrage. Alexander's face turned red with fury. Do you understand what you're throwing away? She's nothing, just a maid. You'll destroy everything I built. Ethan's voice shook, but did not break. Father, everything you built means nothing if I cannot choose my own happiness. She healed me. She gave me strength when I had none. Without her, I wouldn't even be standing here today. He reached out his hand. Ha-un, will you stand with me? Ha-un's tears fell freely as she placed her hand in his. Yes, even if the whole world is against us, I'll stand with you. The crowd hushed. Time seemed to stop, and then, their lips met in a desperate, tearful kiss. The hall erupted. Some cheered, some condemned it. Alexander stormed out, vowing this wasn't over. But for Ethan and Ha-un, none of it mattered. Because at last, in front of the world, their love had been claimed. Their story should have ended here, but destiny had other plans. For love this strong does not end, it only begins.